Welcome to Women, Music, Power, a podcast celebrating the voices, journeys, and artistry of women in music. I'm Leah Hinchcliff.
And I'm Mariana Thielen.
And this is our love letter to the women who shaped us, the legends, the unsung heroes, the ones still carving their path.
So tune in, turn it up, and join us as we celebrate the power of women in music.
We don't wield it, it's in our groove. We don't stand still, got to move. We just live it, don't have to prove. If you know, you know. If you don't, we'll show you the way. 'Cause power is in our play.
Women, music, power.
Well, hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, so good. I had this gig a couple of weeks ago. This is pertinent.
Yeah.
I had this gig a couple of weeks ago with, because I know we gig all the time.
You're not allowed to talk about gigs on Women
gigs.
Music Power.
No. Especially
Without
not my
it being
own.
pertinent.
Yes.
I think all gigs are pertinent.
Oh, you're right. Oh my gosh. So our guest today, I am so honored I get to play with her in one of her groups. That's called the Cider Janes, and it's her and Heather and Aaliyah, and they just do this really cool 3-part harmonies that are beautiful. It's just so beautifully blended.
Yes.
And our guest today, Naomi, is in that group as well, and they asked me to play bass with them, and we got to play at the White Eagle.
Oh, love it.
Which is a Portland institution. I love that place.
I do too. It's
yeah.
great.
So we had a great time. It was really fun.
It's such a good group. The harmonies are tight, and they've written some cool originals too.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, I love the Cider Janes.
Me too.
And I love our guest today,
I do
Naomi
too.
LaViolette.
Yeah.
As you'll find out, she does so many things.
Yeah. Yeah, she's busy all the time.
Yeah.
But you said you also have a connection to her.
Yes, my sister, Emily Mercado, teaches at the University of Utah for their choral department. And I've been bugging her for years. I'm like, you've got to check Naomi out. She is such a good composer. You should use some of her stuff.
Yeah.
And my sister's always looking for women composers as well.
Oh, yeah.
And so this year she used Naomi's arrangement of Noel.
Oh,
and
cool.
It was gorgeous. I got to watch it because they live streamed it, and it was just beautiful.
Oh, wow.
She had a violin playing and some soloists, and yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I love that connection.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It was so cool.
Super
It was
cool.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
wow. Excellent. Well, we are going to hear some cool stuff today from Naomi, and I'm looking forward to it.
yes.
Should we introduce her?
Yes.
All right. Here is Naomi LaViolette.
The summer days are here again, and I need a little slower motion, 'cause each year goes faster than the one before. I want to get back to breathing deeply in and out, 'cause breathing deeply isn't so easy anymore. So take my hand and let's go down to the water, all aglow. The stars are making pictures in the sky. Find a nice spot on the ground to look up high. Don't think about tomorrow, set yesterday aside, 'cause the stars are making pictures in the sky.
I'm really excited because today we have with us composer, performer, singer-songwriter, and versatile pianist Naomi LaViolette. And I'm so excited to introduce you to this amazing woman. Since 2004, she has been a vital part of the Oregon Repertory Singers as their pianist and composer-arranger of many of their pieces, including songs on their album Shadows on the Stars, which won the American Prize. As a recording artist, she has released 4 studio albums of original songs to critical acclaim. She also is often commissioned to write songs for various projects. She was, in fact, featured on CBS Sunday Morning for her work on the Saving His Music project. And this is a project where she is preserving music for the pianist and composer Steve Goodwin. I really got to know Naomi when we began work on the Lullaby Project. This is a project that pairs parents experiencing homelessness with songwriters and Oregon Symphony musicians to write lullabies for their children. Through this project, I've seen Naomi write and play just about every style of music. And also, in addition to piano, she plays guitar, shaker, and kalimba. She just had a wonderful feature written about her in Oregon Arts Watch. And I like the title, how it said it places you at the intersection of empathy and creativity. And it kind of centers around joy, which she brings to everything. And she also happened to name her dog Joy. So let's dive into that and some more as we chat with the incredible Naomi LaViolette. Welcome, Naomi.
Hello, Mariana and Leah.
Hello, welcome.
Hello.
You started on piano, right? You had you were 4 years old? And you had perfect pitch.
Somehow, I don't know how that happens.
Does anyone else in your family have that? Interesting.
Not that I know of.
That's amazing. And your folks kind of recognized that in you right away. They were like, wow, she's got this.
I don't even remember when we realized it. It just became like this party trick at family gatherings. Hey, Naomi, go sing an F sharp. And then, someone would find it on the piano. And to me, it was like, that's the color orange. That's the color green.
Yeah.
That's a D flat. That's an A sharp, whatever it is. It's strange.
Is it the word synesthesia, where you see music or you smell it, or like you said, F sharp is orange?
I think it's more just kind of a metaphor for just how you identify it.
Okay.
But I do kind of hear some keys feel not necessarily like certain colors, but they'll feel darker, or they'll feel brighter, or like D flat. That key just always feels warm and dark to me. And it's one of my favorite keys. Whereas like E major just feels very bright. So it's very much just, I hear it and I can think of what it is.
D flat has always been one of my least favorite keys.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, it just always so it's interesting that you really like it and you think it's warm. It always feels kind of aggravating to me. So
Is that being a string player maybe?
I think maybe because it just is a really hard key on the upright bass, and I just feel like it's never in tune. Not just me. Whenever I hear other bass players play it, I just think the instrument does not resonate in that key.
Well, and I have a song that I arranged for string quartet on one of my records, and I wrote it in D flat. And in the recording studio, you can do as many takes as you need, and we got a beautiful string quartet performance of it. But then when we played it at the album release show, it wasn't sounding good. And I was like, let's play it in D. And then all of a sudden, all the string players sounded amazing on it.
Okay, well, there we go.
So
that's what it is.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
always am kind of careful around string players and flat keys. Like, is this good? I'm always like, is this good for you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I feel like I've been seen here. Okay.
I agree with you on D flat, though.
You like it?
Since we're chiming in on it.
You
Yes.
sing a lot in D flat. So as a composer, then when you're coming up with a piece, would you think, I'm going to write a piece in E because I want it to feel light? Or does that come into play? Like, how do you approach your compositions?
Oh yeah, I'm always thinking of tonalities, major versus minor, flat versus sharp, sometimes using modes because they all feel different. And then I'm also thinking about the progression through keys in a piece and what sort of journey am I going on in this composition, and how do the keys support that? Also, how does the meter support that? So the use of simple versus compound versus mixed, like all of those things can create different moods and messages. And I have so much fun playing with that and seeing if, what I think might works, or if it doesn't, I have to kind of switch things. One of my most recent compositions, it starts in simple meter, and there's a mixture of 2s against 3s and 4s in it, and it's supposed to sound a little disjointed and frantic. So I was trying to do that, and then I wanted it to settle into something that felt very circular, and so I went into compound meter, and I really wanted it to not only be in compound meter, but I wanted it to be in 9/8. I didn't want it to be in something, even. I wanted it to be in something more that could be like this round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. I wanted it to just feel round all the way around. And it was the meter that for me did that. I often want to add triplets when I'm playing in simple meter, more just because I want to create something not necessarily disjointed, but just something kind of different and flowy over something that's a little straighter. So yeah, I love mixing that up. I love that music has the power without words to create such a variety of feelings and emotions. To me, it's just, I've always been so amazed by it.
I know. We were just listening to a song last night, and I was like, this is so sad. It's making me really sad. And he said the lyrics to me. He goes, she's saying something about it's better when we're together. And I was like, I was just listening to the music. You can do that too. You can have a lyrical theme that's giving one message, and then underneath you're like, the real emotion is there, or vice versa, right? I mean,
right. Yeah. Well, and you mentioned that I've been doing more work with a neuroscientist. We have this thing that we've done a lot of times in our presentations where we take Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, which is very intense, very epic. And I sing it as a ragtime. And it's a completely different song.
Yeah. I'm trying to imagine that.
And then we feel kind of like, okay, we need to do it, this song, the weird way it's supposed to be done, because it almost feels wrong.
Yeah, right.
To Hallelujah. So then we sing it the real way. But it's such a neat thing to get the audience to think about, like, especially if you're not a musician, have you thought about how the music under this can make you feel something completely different than the lyrics?
Yeah. Well, tell me more about that project, because it seems really, really fascinating.
Well, I've been doing these presentations with Dr. Larry Sherman for, 6 or 7 years now. And he got connected to me through seeing the work I was doing with Saving His Music, which was working with the composer with Alzheimer's. And he has a lecture he's given for years and years called Music in the Brain. And then he saw what I was doing. He thought, what if we did music in the aging brain? And it was a collaborative presentation with what I already present about the brain, but then also this story. So that was how we met. And then it's turned into a number of different projects. The Neuroscience of Love, which is one we did on Valentine's Day a couple years ago. We did a Mother's Day presentation where he talked about what's happening in the brains of moms as they go through different stages of connecting to their children. And so then we had a whole program that was about that, with songs about motherhood. And yeah, it's really fun. It's interesting to collaborate in ways that are combining music with other things.
That's amazing. How into the actual brain science does he get? Does he talk about temporal lobe and prefrontal cortex? Like, does he get really nitty gritty with what's happening in all these different parts of the brain?
He has slides of neurons
on
the screen.
Cool. Okay.
And
That's really cool.
all of these scientific terms and labels where it's like going to class
Yeah.
for a little while. And, and he teaches at OHSU.
Oh, yeah.
And he's doing research on brains all the time.
So this is your brain. This is your brain on music.
Basically.
I'm interested in talking more about this project you did, the man with Alzheimer's. My mom had Alzheimer's, and as she lost her language skills, she still was able to sit down at the piano and play stuff that she had played her whole life. But she would always put a book of music in front of her at the memory care facility. They had a piano and they had all these piano books. She wasn't reading the music at all. That was what you did when you played music. You put the book on the piano, but she would just sit down and play stuff. And the people there were like, oh, your mom is amazing. She's reading this music. I was like, she's not reading it. She's just playing from memory these pieces that she learned when she was 8 or 10 or something she made up when she was 30. Just the fact that she could still do that was so cool. And it always made me cry, and it always made me so happy to know that she still had that.
I don't remember where I heard this, if it was from, there was a documentary called, I think, The Music Inside or something like that, where they would put on music from the past for these people that, maybe didn't even have any speech because they were so fully progressed in Alzheimer's and dementia. And they would put music from their past on, and it would unlock their speech for a period of time.
Oh, wow.
It just would tap into this spot in their brain that was still there. And I think it must just be stored in one of those layers that Alzheimer's touches last. So it's there the longest. And that's what happened with this project, with this dear man. He was the dad of one of my closest friends. And his music was just the soundtrack to her life. He wrote songs about their family and his wife. And as they discovered that they were losing him to Alzheimer's, then they were starting to discover that they were losing his music because he was starting to forget how to play it. So even though it was still in his head, the connections to his hands to be able to play them on the piano, that was starting to falter. And he hadn't really recorded any of it in either score or audio recordings. And so they were like having a double devastation there. Not only losing him, we're losing his music. So I said, I might be able to help. One of my favorite things to do is learn music by ear. So if he can at least play, even if it's in bits and pieces, I could probably, stitch it together, and then he can coach me with playing it like he would play it. And I think one of the really important things to them is I did come in as like that, I'm the accompanist here. This isn't about me being an artist. This is about me almost channeling his artistry. How does he express this melodic line? How does he do the rubato or whatever? He was a very expressive composer. And so over the course of probably 3 years, I went to their house every week or so and just listened to him play. And I'd have, a little recording device out to sort of record what we could get. And then I would sit down and try and play it. And he'd coach me through it, because even if he couldn't get it all the way out, he could completely correct me if I needed to play something faster or slower or change the note or whatever. It was all right there in his mind, his music.
Wow.
So we captured it before the disease progressed too much for him to be able to do that.
No one else could ever make me feel so free to throw away all my cares. Nothing in the world could ever get to me as long as you are there. So paint me a paradise and fly there with me. Love me a lullaby, happy we'll be. I don't know what I would do without you.
He's in a memory care facility now. They have music time almost every day at this place where they bring all the patients in, and one of their employees leads them through singing all of these, oldies but goodies, and they all are just lighting up in the room, especially Steve, just singing along, remembering all the words. It's really wonderful what music does.
And you were able to record a full album of his work?
We did 2 full albums.
2 full albums.
Yeah. I mean, and we got most of his songs. So I think total it was over 30 songs.
Wow.
There were just maybe 1 or 2 that we just couldn't get all the way towards the end there. And I know it was actually really hard for both Steve and Joni to be like, this song was there. And we just had to know that we did our very best. It was really wonderful to be a part of that with that family and for them to let me have such a intimate look into their story and their love for each other. And they shocked me about a year ago when they were moving him to the care facility and Joni was downsizing. They gave me his piano.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
His beautiful grand piano is in my home now.
Wow.
It's such a gift to sit down and play it all the time now.
Yeah. Wow, that gave me
Wow.
chills. That's really, really amazing.
How many pianos do you have?
Okay, so that's funny for you to ask because I had just bought, before they gave me that piano, I had just bought my studio piano,
Yeah.
which is the upright that Yamaha makes with the felt so that I can record felted piano. And then I had the piano that I bought when I was in graduate school when I said, I'm not going to any more stinking practice rooms anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to get a degree in this and really commit to this, I'm just going to buy my own piano. And I bought this teeny little upright it was the first thing I ever financed.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
And so I have that little one, and then I have the studio, and now I have the grand. And then I have 2 keyboards. So it's just
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
no, I have 3 keyboards. So there's just too many in my
It's
house.
the tools of your trade.
Yeah.
You have to have it.
For people who don't know, the felted piano is if you ever listen to playlists that are peaceful piano, all these kind of things, they're all played on a felted piano.
You do hear the mechanical sounds of the piano because it's so soft. So you set up the mics pretty close to where the hammers are striking the strings, but between the string and the hammer is a big piece of felt. Yeah, you can kind of hear some clicking at times. And I was trying to initially record my music with like a sample of a felted piano using my keyboard. And I couldn't find anything that sounded as nice as the real thing. So yeah, I invested in this piano and figured out how to mic it. And it's this really lovely, relaxing sound. And, as musicians, we're trying to find a way to make music sustainable. I was learning a lot during the pandemic about recorded music and thinking, well, maybe I should learn how to record myself because it's just so expensive to try to make an album and then try to get people to listen to it. And then good luck selling a CD. It's like,
Yeah.
But then I was doing more looking into these playlists and listening to these piano-centered ones that are really designed for relaxation or sleep or meditation or yoga, fill in the blank. It's like music for a purpose. And I'm listening to these songs and I'm like, I could create something like this.
Yeah.
Like, these aren't that complicated. And then there would be like ones that I love and then ones that would make me feel kind of bored. And I'm like, okay, well, I definitely want to make songs that I would love. So what is it about this one song that, makes me love it? And it's usually something that has to do with the key, how it changes and how things sort of, all the things we were just talking about. And so I just started composing, and I'd every day sit down and say, okay, I'm going to make a song that feels like a river. I'd think of an image or something, or feels like compassion, feels like hope. What can I create here musically that would feel like that to the listener? And then started recording them. And now I'm releasing them under a new artist name just because it's very different from the other music that I've released. And that's called Lucent Sky.
What have you found out with your research? What are people clicking on?
Well, it really depends on the genre, because like with the solo piano stuff, most people are going to go to this platform and they're not going to say, I'm looking for Lucent Sky.
Right.
They're going to say, I'm looking for something to listen to while I cook dinner. I'm looking for something to listen to while I take a bubble bath.
Right.
And so they'll put in bath music.
Right. Yeah.
Bath piano.
Right.
Or guitar. I mean,
Yeah.
accordion. Fill in the blank. What do you want to listen to right now? What's your vibe?
Yeah.
Are you having a dinner party? Are you drinking wine? Are you, morning coffee? There's a playlist for every setting and mood.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times if you are getting into those sorts of playlists, people may not discover who you are because they're just sort of putting it on and then not really connecting, taking a bath.
Right.
Exactly. You may get higher stream count, but you won't necessarily get more followers.
I gotcha. Okay.
But stream count is what counts. If you're trying to be a singer-songwriter, that's where, people might actually connect more with you because they're connecting with your voice. They're connecting with a person in that way.
What do you practice, and do you practice? When do you have time to practice?
Well, I generally now practice for the gig.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
There were the years of scales and arpeggios and all of that. But now it's like, okay, I have to be ready for this and I have to be able to play that. So I need to be able to, I have to practice this many days in a row to be ready.
Yeah.
It's funny. I have a show coming up this Friday and I've been practicing just, I sit down for maybe a half hour every day, just touch the difficult spot. And I got through one of the songs last night and I said to my husband, well, that sounded like shit a week ago. But now it's okay. And it's like, it's a relief to trust the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not beat myself up when I'm first starting to practice something that it's like, I better not sound like this in 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh. That's such a huge piece of being good at anything is that you really have to slog through the part when you sound like shit, right? Where you're never going to get better if you're not able to look at yourself at your worst, right?
Yeah. And I think as professional musicians, we've got to share about that, because I accompany the high school choirs in my neighborhood because my daughter's in the choir. And I just want to tell all the kids that.
Yeah.
Go easy on yourself.
Yeah.
Even I have days that I just sound, like I'm not ready for the show. Right. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Right.
Just because you're at this place now, because just trust the process. You'll get there.
Mm-hmm. I heard something like when you're learning something new, if you get discouraged at the beginning, it just means that you took too big of a step. So you just need to go back and take a smaller step. And then, and I'm like, oh, that's a really good way to think about it. It's like, I bit off more than I could chew. I tried to take this big step. I just need to go take a smaller one and then I'll get to that other one.
Well, and I think too, you practice at a 10 and you perform at a 8.
That's true.
And then it's like, you can just kind of relax because it's like, oh, well, I practiced something much harder than this.
Yep.
So this is easy. That's been helpful. So if I have a piece that I'm having to get up to a certain speed, I'll practice it at 10 clicks, what my performance goal is. I'll work it up to past that.
Yeah.
So that then when I'm there with the conductor and they start conducting, I'm like, this isn't that fast. Okay.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath, relax, smile. Smiling is so helpful when you're performing. Do you do that?
I think so.
I remember to smile and it sends this you're okay. Don't worry. You're happy to be here. Especially if you're really nervous about the gig. Yeah. I write smiley faces all over my music if I'm accompanying something that's difficult.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. Smiley faces everywhere. And breathe. Breathe.
Interesting.
Little tricks of the trade to not be too stressed out when I'm performing.
I'm going to try that. I think I have bass player face all the time. I can't do it if I'm not playing with my lips pulled down. I see pictures of myself. I'm like, oh, that's what that looks like when it feels like that. But yeah, the smiling thing, I think eludes a lot of musicians because we're so focused on what we're doing. We're intense about it. It's like, I don't have time to do that. I could see that would kind of take you out of that place of being so absorbed.
It just reminds you that you love this.
Yeah.
I've been doing more yoga lately too, and I have this one instructor that I've been going to, and she reminds us to smile during the class. And when you're like, I can't hold this pose, I'm about to fall apart. If you just smile a little, it's like all of a sudden it gets a little easier.
As long as it's not a man telling you to smile.
Hell no.
Oh my God. Well, I just want to say you smile constantly when you perform. Mariana.
Really?
You do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
You're very sparkly, and I think that people gravitate towards that. I know. I do.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I used to maybe be too performative, and then you're not like listening and focusing as much. So I need to not worry as much about smiling and like being like turning in toward Greece and just listening. So I think sometimes for me, I have to remind myself, you don't have to turn it on the whole time. It'll still be interesting.
Yeah.
They'll still want to watch you, even if you're not like
Jazz hands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have some memory of Naomi that I wanted to share. You hosted a party after the Lullaby Project, and we were all kind of standing around talking about how do you perform when emotions are coming up? How do you do, do you remember this?
I do.
We were all sharing basically strategies about how you perform when you're really feeling emotional, like if you feel like you're going to cry. And then Naomi said, which I totally agree with, you just have to do it. You can't cry. You can't let it affect your performance. And Naomi just goes, yep, I just go dead inside.
And that sounds horrible, doesn't it?
That's not what I thought you were going to say. I just want to...
I think it's really funny and true. And it was just like a very funny, personable moment from you, who you're someone who maybe if people just meet you really have everything together. You're doing so many things. And to just hear you say something like that, like I have to go dead inside. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Maybe we call that the zombie technique.
Oh, I like it. The zombie technique. Yes.
I learned the hard way one time singing Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell. And I just started thinking about too much personal stuff as I was singing it and how it was just straight into my life. And I just started crying in the middle of performing. And I'm okay to cry in front of people, but on stage that felt really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That was the moment where I was like, okay, especially if you're singing Joni Mitchell, go dead inside, because that's what you have to do. And then as a performer, you can put all that emotion on your face.
Yes.
You don't look dead on the outside.
Right.
And so, but then what you're doing is you're creating an emotional experience for your audience.
Yes.
And so I figure that's the gift that we have to give. And I can deal with my own struggles off the stage.
Yes, totally. I think people overuse the phrase giving space, but like you do in that way, you give space for them to feel, because if they start watching you break down, then they're just going to feel sorry for you, and they don't have a chance to feel their own feelings. Right. So by going dead inside, you're helping them feel alive.
Another way to think of it is going robot a little bit, robotic. Like I am just a vessel of this song. You're creating that space for your audience.
Compartmentalizing.
Exactly.
That's good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we have to compartmentalize our nerves too, our stress of performing too. We have to learn how to kind of, okay, I know I'm ready. I've practiced. Yeah. Now anxiety, you can just go hang out over here. I don't need you right now.
I have watched you work with all these, through Lullaby Project, through Saving His Music. You're always kind of putting yourself in a place where you are working with somebody who is going through some deep shit. And you have to sit with them and hear them and then turn that into art. It's a huge gift that you have.
I started as a piano accompanist.
Yeah.
And when you're showing up in that setting, you are just, how can I serve this situation? How can I serve the conductor? How can I serve the choir? It's not like I'm showing up as this solo artist that wants the attention. It's more like the attention's not on the accompanist. It's on what we're all creating together. And so from the very beginning, I've always been drawn to a supportive role. And that's why Lullaby Project has been so wonderful, because it is about hearing these other stories and how can we support them through music. Yeah. So I just feel like the piano accompanist thread line through everything, so that it's like, how can I support what's happening here as best I can?
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter if there's a spotlight on me or at all.
In thinking about all your different personas and all your different, so you've got choral, solo piano, singer-songwriter, you're saying you are often called to be a supportive role, and that's kind of a through line. Do you feel like in your singer-songwriter sect, is that the area where you feel like you can say, this is about what I want to say and my own expression?
I mean, as a singer-songwriter, I've just written songs to process something I might be needing to think through in a deeper way or recover from. But then I also love saying, okay, I'm going to write a song about grief or about name a topic, and then it'll be a sort of a challenge. Okay. And then I'll interview people. And it's so funny because I want to go to other people's stories sometimes and be like, well, how did you deal with this? And so that'll kind of give me some lyrics. And I like that collaborative work in even my songwriting too. The song Pictures in the Sky was more of a songwriter challenge. I wasn't really writing something from my own story, but more, I want to write a song that feels like summer and stargazing. I just was like, okay, what does that feel like? And I talked to people who like to watch the stars and came to, put a bunch of words together into this song that's about just coming with your friends under a beautiful night sky in the summertime.
And you were saying that when you perform it, you have people hold hands and sing along?
Yeah. I'm like, you may not know the person next to you, but you're going to make a new friend. I love it. Hold their hand and imagine that you're out under the stars.
Yeah.
Feeling alive together.
The stars are making pictures in the sky. Find a nice spot on the ground to look up high. Don't think about tomorrow, set yesterday aside. 'Cause the stars are making pictures in the sky.
When you're composing like a classical piece, maybe for a chamber group or a choir, do you sit down at the piano and play it and figure it out and then write it down? Or is there a part where you're just like, oh, I'm composing in my head and I'm writing this stuff out for different parts? How might that be different than if you're writing like a pop song or a folk song?
Well, let me start with maybe a choral piece. A lot of times you have to kind of have an idea of what it's going to be about. So either you're working with a poet or some existing poetry, or sometimes I've set my own lyrics for choral music, which it's interesting in the choral world. A lot of choral composers don't do that. So that's been kind of a blend I've been able to do as a singer-songwriter and a choral composer. So I like doing both, and the text will kind of guide what is going to happen musically. And so I will first sort of do like a kind of a graph, I guess, of like the song. Let's say I'm writing a 5-minute piece.
Did you do this for Winter Solstice? I'm curious. You wrote all the lyrics for that, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And a lot of my lyrics just start as a big, long journal explosion. And I'll have 5 times as many words as I end up using for the song lyrics. It kind of starts like a poem, but I'm also thinking about what vowels sing well. How would this phrase maybe be shaped melodically to express that? If it's a singer-songwriter piece, you can often put more words in to a space, and you can change your rhythms and have a lot of swung rhythms or syncopated rhythms. But if you're writing for choir, you're thinking more about how a section will sing and how they will sound on particular notes. And so, one of the trickiest things is taking something I've written as a singer-songwriter thing and try to make that work as a choral piece. That is tricky.
I bet.
It's really tricky to get the sections to sound right on that. That guides a lot of it. And yeah, I'll kind of graph it out and I'll think, okay, generally the first third of it, well, Winter Solstice as an example, it's going to start in a minor key and I want it to sound cold. So what to me feels cold? Okay, something where they're kind of sitting up high and the sopranos are on the minor third and there's some changing in the middle and it's a sharp key, which to me feels brighter, colder. And then where does this go? Where do I want to end up? A lot of times I'm thinking, okay, at the end, the lyrics are sort of a place of renewal, a place of acceptance. So what does that ending sound like? And so it ends in the relative major of B minor. It ends in D major. So I knew that's where I wanted to end up. But getting there, it goes through a lot of different key centers depending on where it's at lyrically. So if I'll think, okay, do I want to use that for this point in the lyrics? Or do I want to be kind of putting the brakes on? And do I want to create a more settled, less pushy feeling here? And so I'll use the other ways of moving, which is more regressive harmonic progression. We're really getting into the weeds here. Hope that's okay
I love
for your
it.
listeners.
I love it.
I'm like, whoa.
Which is like the opposite, which would be like the plagal cadence, the 4/1, or going up a third or down a second. Yeah. So I get a kick out of analyzing songs and how they make me feel, and then I'll be like, oh, it's because it's doing that in the chords.
Wow.
That's why I feel that way.
Yeah.
Wow. Anything else you want to say about winter solstice before we listen to it?
Well, I mean, it's about a ritual that you do on the winter solstice where you write down all of your, darkness from the year, whatever hurts or pains or sufferings and things you just want to let go of. You write it down and then you let it go in the fire. So they can be listening for that. It's just the story of doing that in the lyrics.
Okay, well, let's listen to Winter Solstice.
Snow and shadows surround us. Earth is cold and still, guided only by starlight. Days overtaken swiftly by darkness. The trees sleep and the moon hides. We take the time. This winter solstice. This winter solstice, to look inside, to look inside the shadow.
In all my years of playing for the Organ Repertory Singers, we do Glory of Christmas every year, and it's, Christmas carols and some winter songs, but nothing about winter solstice. I had not seen a choir piece come across the program in all those years, and I was like, well, I'm just going to write one because I loved the idea of something that didn't connect to a religion or any specific way of believing. It was just, this is what's happening in our universe. This is what's happening in the earth and to the trees. And there are probably molecular things happening in our bodies that we don't even know about. And what's something that no matter what you believe, the group can come together and connect in a deep way. Yeah. Because one of the things I love about choir is there are lyrics in this big group of people, and some of the best conductors really, they're not just about, oh, we've got the concert coming up, we better conduct and rehearse and get ready. It's like, what is the message? What can we offer to each other? We're all breathing together. We're all creating this together. There's such a beautiful community that happens in choirs that I thought maybe this song could just be another part of that for any age, any race, any religion.
It sounds like choral music is a much more spiritual experience.
Yeah, because I've worked with orchestras too.
Yeah.
And the feeling is different. Feeling's very different.
And you talked about breathing together. I mean, that's a really vital way to connect with people. I mean, when we sing together, sing harmony, we're doing that. It's a really deep connection. I love that. When I've been listening to your music, that's one of the words that kept coming up for me was spiritual and connection to spirit. And I am curious about where you are in that journey. You don't have to share it with us, but I'm curious about it.
Oh, I love talking about it. I was raised, in the Christian faith, but now as an adult, I feel like I'm a universalist because I really love seeing how all the faiths intersect. And then also how they connect to our natural world and the universe. So to me, I just found philosophy and religious practices so interesting. And there's just a lot of beauty in these different beliefs and cultures. And how can we heal our world if we're just focused on where we disagree? Let's focus on where we intersect.
Yeah.
And so I'll never forget, I went to a Christmas Eve service at a Universalist church, and they did a mashup of Silent Night with Into the Mystic by Van Morrison.
Yes.
And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever heard on Christmas Eve.
Amazing. In that video, y'all did that during COVID, and you were all wearing masks in winter solstice. And, just kind of this conversation about connecting and the power of all singing together. I remember feeling the loss of that during the pandemic. We can't play together. We can't sing together. And then we all kind of found a way. I thought it was just watching that with you all in masks and hearing this beautiful piece. I don't know. It made it almost more meaningful just to know what was happening in the world at that time and what you all went through to get to make that too. You know? And how it made it really powerful.
Well, that first time of doing the ceremony of writing down the darkness and burning it, I think it was in 2021 when we did it as a family. All I thought was COVID, George Floyd, fires nearby. I saw the sky orange right by my house because there were fires burning. There were so many just awful things that had happened that I just filled the page, and I was just tears down my face, filling this page and then just letting it go in the fire. It was cathartic, for sure.
And you did that with your family, with your kids. And
we
your
do
husband.
now every year.
That is so cool. She has the coolest family. Reese and I went over there like a couple summers ago and had dinner. You have this book of questions that they ask at dinner, and they go around the table, and they're like fun questions to answer. Like, what do you think happens to the water once you flush it down the toilet?
That was one of their favorites. There were some really creative answers with that one.
I love that.
I can't even remember the questions that we answered, but we made it into your book. You wrote down our answers. I mean, we don't know their kids, right? We walk in and they just kind of, it felt like we just instantly were a part of the family, and they like concluded us in this ritual. And now to know that you have this winter solstice ritual, I mean, what a cool mom. Inspiring.
Well, I think for me, I was raised in kind of one way of thinking. I did not want to do that with my kids.
Yeah.
So at the holidays, we do Christmas and we do the winter solstice, but we also always get together with our friends that celebrate Hanukkah and have latkes and spin the dreidel. And then we celebrate Bodhi Day, which is the birth of Buddhism. And that day, I don't have to cook because we just get Thai food.
Yes.
And we put colored lights all over the house because it's representing that there are many pathways to enlightenment. And again, it's like I love throughout the holidays talking about how are all of these just pathways to light, and how can we be open spiritually to what maybe directs our path as a person and as a spirit in the world. I want my kids to feel free to choose whatever lifts them up the most, and they're not going to be pigeonholed into one way of thinking or believing. If I have anything to do with it. That was really important to me.
That's such a gift.
And your daughter is a musician.
Oh, yes.
And how old is your daughter? Because I heard her sing, and that was pretty cool.
She's 17.
Wow.
And she's a songwriter too.
Yeah. And so poised. I got to hear her at a show. I was like, holy crap, at 17, being brought up in a way that you're able to express yourself musically and have that support. That was really cool.
We have so much fun together right now. She's doing solo and ensemble and trying to pick her songs. And I'm like, pick something you just love. So I got out my Western civilization music history book from school. I still have it. And I started pawing through like the French Impressionists. And then I was like, oh, but we've got to go look at like the female composers too. So I was reading, what did Alma Mahler write? And then I found my music, and we just sat at the piano last night and played through all of these Alma Mahler songs and some Ravel. And then we were singing through Benjamin Britten, The Ceremony of Carols. And she has that ability to do really difficult intervals already that I'm like, that could be your superpower if you're going to do solo ensemble. Do something that shows that you can sing really tricky harmonic stuff rather than trying to do something that's like really technical in other ways, because a lot of kids your age can't do that yet.
Right. Yeah.
So pick something really out there.
That's so cool. Are your other kids musical too?
Yeah, well, so my oldest played in the band during high school, and then now in university level is doing choir and really enjoying it.
Is your husband musical?
He's an appreciator, right?
Okay. Since we can say whatever we want on this podcast, he could all of a sudden sing really high if he's had a little bit of whiskey and 80s metal bands are playing.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, there it is. You can sing.
Wow.
He just needs to like go back into his like teenage self and have a little whiskey, and then he can just wail it out.
All right.
Okay. Find
So
his...
I think he's a musician, but he doesn't think he is.
Okay.
So next time I see y'all, I'm going to bring some whiskey and I'm going to turn the radio on.
Yep.
Hey, John.
Yep.
Did you want to talk about another piece?
I think this kind of connects to our spirituality discussion, discovering peace. Is that infused with this idea of finding the light wherever you want to approach it?
Yeah. So Discovering Peace is the title track of my first full-length album with Lucent Sky. And every song on it is designed to support a different meditation practice or mindfulness or prayer. You know, it could be like what works for you as you're listening. The title track, Discovering Peace, was the last one I wrote. It was after doing, I think I was at 11 tracks by that point of what does it take to discover peace in your life? And what I came to at that point was it actually takes courage to discover peace. A good friend of mine told me that courage is like a river and the magic happens at the edges. So I was like, okay, this song is a river. And actually the unknown title to this track is Courage.
The unknown title?
Well, it's like, that's what I kind of
The
call it.
secret title?
It's the secret title. Yeah, because that's what it takes. And so, I had some fun writing it is the middle of the piano is the river, and I play with my right hand in the middle. And the left hand are the edges of the river. And I play on either side of my right hand throughout the piece. So you'll hear a really steady thing in the middle, and then you'll hear low stuff, and you'll hear high stuff. And if you can picture it, it's the left hand going back and forth.
Okay.
The left hand dancing up and down on the edges of the river. And then it reaches an eddy in the middle where the pulse kind of stops and things are a little swirly harmonically and with the melody. And through that, it modulates up a key to the key of B. And you return to the right hand being in the middle, pulsing on the letter B now. And it's, to me, I hope it feels like you had to go through that kind of nebulous spot to reach a new place of awareness or enlightenment or peace in your life. And you return to your same song. It's still you, but you're in a new spot. Spiritually, mentally, kind of wherever it's going to take you. And then the left hand goes back to dancing. And there's even a spot when it's up above the right hand where I put in some syncopation because I really did want it to feel like a dance. There was a lot that went into the creation of this piece. And I hope it takes people on sort of a journey of courage as they listen to it.
Let's listen to Discovering Peace.
So that was so cool while we were listening to that piece to have Naomi directing it and showing us where her hands were and dancing through it. That was really, really cool. Do you have a reverb on the piano? Is that just your piano sound in your studio?
That is just the piano sound.
Wow.
I have two condenser mics set on kind of basically either side of my head.
Okay.
So that it really is capturing what I'm hearing.
Wow.
As close as possible.
That's an amazing amount of space around those notes.
It really does sound like you're the one sitting at the piano.
Yeah, it
when you
does.
listen to the recording.
Yeah.
I love that. So cool. And when you were talking about the dancing and the bass part was walking down, and then you had some answering on the high notes, it was so beautiful. Like if somebody wanted to play this piece, is it written down? Can
Oh,
they?
yeah.
Okay.
I have all my scores on my website.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'm always encouraging people with my newsletter, hey, do you play the piano? These aren't that hard to play.
Have people learned them?
Yeah.
If they sent them to you?
Yeah.
I love it.
People are playing them, and I also send them for free to every one of my Patreon patrons.
Oh, yes.
So they'll say, I printed it out and I played it.
That's great. And you have all your choral scores up as well, right?
With choral scores, that is one area of the industry where conductors and choirs are always looking for new music, and especially music by women, because we are so underrepresented in the literature. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll just see what I can create and see if I can create pieces that meet a need for certain choirs.
We were talking to a music teacher at PPS a couple weeks ago, Cynthia Plank, and she was telling us that she's been choosing a lot more music that was composed by women, and how exciting it is to be able to be a teacher that gets to make those choices. I need to hook you guys up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Networking 101.
There we
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
The old-fashioned way.
I
Let's
know.
get coffee.
That's
Yes,
the way to
yes.
do it. Since we're a podcast that explores music with women musicians, can you talk a little bit about being a woman musician? Specifically, how has that hindered you or helped you or informed you, or what kind of experiences have you had specific to being a woman?
Well, right now in the choral world, it's some open doors, actually, just because they are trying to build balance to the art form. And so that's really kind of nice. Then there's other times where, and maybe it's being an accompanist, people will always say, and here's our lovely accompanist. And I'm like, no, don't talk about what I look like. And I think that so often with women that those adjectives are put in front of, the beautiful singer, the lovely, the stunning, whatever. And that doesn't happen with men. No. They don't put those adjectives on. And I'm like, I know maybe they think they're trying to be nice, but just say accompanist. Not that it's a huge problem. It's just a little bit of a thing that I've noticed. I'm like, this is just different for women. And I'd rather let's just focus on the music she's making and who she is inside, not how, whatever she looks like. And then there were a lot of years of leading bands as a singer-songwriter and a jazz player that everyone else in the band was male.
Oh, yeah.
And I have I love them. I love the men that I've worked with over the years, but I always felt so outnumbered all the time. And so when I can be in where the females are outnumbering the males' spaces, making music, it just feels so incredibly special because it's just more rare.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is that?
Yeah.
Is it because women are not encouraged when they're younger to go into certain instruments? You look at the band programs, and the jazz band is mostly male, and then the choral program is full of girls, and it's like, why don't we have more girls playing trumpet and trombone and all those things, because they're just as capable.
Yeah.
I've seen so much inequity in all levels of the system, and I don't get it. I mean, I'm a mother too, so a lot of my career has been limited in a way by that because I've been pulled other directions. So I know that happens for a lot of young artists. They have to kind of choose one or the other.
Well, and I do want to say, too, that working with kids in the school, that I do see a lot more young ladies in the jazz band.
Good.
I love it. I mean, I've had so many girls come through learning how to play the bass. And at Beaumont, I think at least half of the kids in that jazz band are girls. And that's unheard of. When I was in high school, there was 3 of us, and we were definitely outnumbered.
It takes a lot of bravery to be in that space because a lot of times you get looked over.
I've had the honor and opportunity to play with you with the Cider Janes, and that's all women. So, and it's such a cool space to be a part of, the way your voices blend together. I think women's voices, just there's something really magical about that when you just have that going on. And also the space of the three of you being good friends, there's just this sort of energy that is happening in there. What's that like for you to play in a group that's just all women?
I really love it. We get together for our rehearsals, and it's half rehearsing and half eating dinner and enjoying each other's company. And it's been really life-giving.
I feel like we've really gotten to know you in a deep way through your music and hearing a little bit more about how you approach life and stuff. It's just been really lovely.
Well, thank you for having me. I love the idea of this podcast. So I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Yay,
Thank you, Naomi. There you go.
There you go.
Another
wow.
incredible guest.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So smart.
I know.
Wow. Just brilliant. I love all the stuff when she was talking about the series she's doing, like This Is Your Brain on Music. I don't think that's what it was called, but that's what I remember of it. Just that kind of blew my mind. I love that she does that kind of stuff, you know, and just her composing is so like such a high level of, I don't even have the right words.
You know, we got the benefit of listening to a song and having her explain all the mechanics of it while we were playing it, you know, and being in the room kind of watching her explain that was mind-blowing.
It was really cool when she was actually, like, she was playing the piano in the air and she was showing us how she was moving up and down the keyboard when the water was doing this and she was up high. It was really beautiful. Yeah.
And I just love all the different sides of her. I think so often we think we can't be multiple things, you know, we have to focus on something or be a brand or something like that. And it's like, you look at someone like her and you're like, no, you don't. Look at her. She knows she's a composer. She's got a pop thing going on. She's got solo piano. She's just doing all the things that move her.
Right.
She's going for it.
She is.
You know?
Yeah. I love that she has a lucent sky that's doing that music. I love that she just has this whole other persona.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
And she's so spiritual. I love talking about that with her, you know, so just that kind of thing that runs, the thread that runs through all of her projects and in her life. It's
I know.
Really cool.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to see and hear Naomi, she is going to be doing the Song Suffragettes Pacific Northwest show. This will be the second annual show on International Women's Day, Sunday, March 8th. It starts at 6 p.m. and it is at the McMinimans Kennedy School. And guess who else is going to be on that show?
Oh, I wonder who could it be?
Ms. Leah Hinchcliff.
Oh, I am going to be on that. I'm very excited about it.
I'm stoked about this because you are going to be featured, right?
Is that true? I thought I was a sideman.
Oh, I thought. Wait, are you just saying that?
I'm just saying it. I think, I'm like, I got to write a song.
You have written songs.
I know. I have. I've written a few, but
what are you going to do? Are you going to play guitar and sing?
I don't know. I think I might play guitar and sing my song, but I'm going to play bass with the other folks, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Who could know?
And we don't want to give it away anyways,
no, we
because
don't.
People should go.
Come to the show and find out. And one of our other guests, Rachel Brashear, is also going to be part of this.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love this. We're creating these links between people because Naomi didn't know Rachel before, and that's because of us that we hook them up.
Right on.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Me too. Another successful pod.
Well, and we should also say that this is actually the last of this first season.
It is. Naomi is our last guest of the first season.
So thank you to everyone who's been listening, supporting us, commenting,
Sharing
it with other people. We'll see what happens And season 2.
Yes, stay tuned for season 2.
All right. Take
All right,
care.
you too. Women Music Power is produced by
Mariana and Leah.
It is edited by
Mariana and Leah.
The theme song is by
Mariana and Leah.
The conceptualization is by
Mariana and Leah.
Executive producer Dr. Nancy Bro and mastered by
Allison Castonguay.
at Sound Travels.
Thanks, Allison.
Check out our website at
WomenMusicPowerPod.com.